All right, let's get right into it. Have you ever really stopped to think about what's going on in your brain when you decide to buy something? I mean, it feels pretty random sometimes, right? Well, it's not. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden forces that are quietly steering every single one of our purchases.
No, really, take a second. That new phone, those sneakers, that car, why that specific one? Was it the price, the brand name, maybe a friend wouldn't stop talking about it? Whatever it was, that little moment of decision is exactly what we're going to unpack today. Because believe it or not, there's a whole science behind it.
And this is it. It's called Consumer Behaviour. It's the official study of how and why we choose the things we do. It covers everything from that split-second decision to grab a candy bar at checkout to the months you might spend researching a new laptop. And here's the key takeaway. Our choices are never, ever made in a vacuum.
In fact, every decision we make is being constantly shaped by these, well, invisible forces. You can think of them as the behind-the-scenes directors of your shopping habits, and they can be broken down into four huge categories. So what are these big four? We've got psychological, social, cultural, and personal factors. Each one plays a totally unique part in the story of why you buy, so let's break them down one by one.
First up, we've got the psychological stuff. This is all happening inside your own head. It's about your motivations, how you perceive the world, and what you've learned from past purchases. This is also where sneaky little mental shortcuts live. For example, have you heard of the decoy effect? That's when a store shows you three options and one is just kind of terrible. It's not there to be sold, it's there to make one of the other options suddenly look like a fantastic deal. It's a total marketing hack that plays on our brain's internal wiring. Next up, social factors. I mean, we're social animals, right? This goes way beyond just your family and friends. It's about the incredible power of social proof. You know, when you see a product with thousands of five-star reviews, or notice that everyone you follow on Instagram is using the same gadget, our brain basically goes, well, if they all like it, it must be good. We're just hardwired to follow the herd. It feels safer. Now let's zoom out even more to cultural factors. This is the really big picture stuff, the shared values and beliefs of the entire society you live in. Your culture dictates what's seen as a luxury versus a necessity, or what's even considered acceptable to buy in the first place. And inside that big culture, you've got tons of smaller subcultures, all with their own unwritten rules about what's cool and what's not.
And finally, we have personal factors. Everything that makes you, well, you. Your age, what you do for a living, your hobbies, your opinions, all of this creates a unique consumer profile that shapes what you want and need. Think about it. A college student and a new parent can look at the exact same car and see two completely different things. Okay, so we know the influencers now. Let's talk about the process. When you decide to buy something, you're actually following a kind of mental playbook, even if you don't realize it.
It almost always starts with a search for information. First, you do an internal search. You basically scan your brain's hard drive. Have I bought this before? Did I like it? If you come up empty, you move on to an external search. That's when you start asking friends, diving into online reviews, or heading to a store. So, once you've gathered all this info, you have to actually make sense of it all. This is where you start weighing your options using something called evaluative criteria, which is just a fancy way of saying your personal mental checklist. This chart is a perfect example. Let's say you're buying a new smartphone. You're probably comparing things like price, camera quality, and battery life. So here, phone A has a killer camera, but it's expensive and the battery isn't great. Phone B is cheaper and has amazing battery life, but the camera is just good. So what do? How do you possibly choose? Well, you make that final call by using these little mental shortcuts called decision rules. These are the rule of thumb your brain uses to simplify the choice and save you from analysis paralysis. You know, that awful feeling of being so overwhelmed by options that you can't decide at all. And there are basically two main types. With a compensatory rule, a weakness can be balanced out by a strength. You might think, yeah, the phone is expensive, but man, that camera makes it totally worth it. But with a non-compensatory rule, you've got deal breakers. You might say, I don't care how good the camera is. If it doesn't have a big screen, I'm not even considering it. It's a hard pass. End of story. Now, you'd probably think the story is over once you've swiped your card, right? Wrong. In a lot of ways, the most critical part of the whole journey is just getting started.
This all comes down to customer satisfaction. Did the product actually live up to the hype? Was the customer service team actually helpful? And do you feel like you got a good value for your money? These things determine whether you walk away feeling great or if you get that sinking feeling of buyer's remorse. And this is why companies are absolutely obsessed with how you feel after the sale. Because satisfaction isn't just about a one-time good feeling, it's the direct pipeline to building brand loyalty. Honestly, a truly satisfied customer is like gold. They don't just come back to buy again, they become your biggest advocates. They tell their friends, which is basically free marketing, and they'll even defend their choice online. This loyalty creates a powerful loop that makes them way less likely to even look at the competition. Okay, so this is all super useful for marketers. But what about for us? How does this actually help you? Let's flip the script, because understanding this playbook is your best tool for making smarter, more conscious choices. Think of this whole framework as a mirror. The next time you're about to buy something, just hold it up. Ask yourself, wait, is this a real need, or did that limited time offer just create a sense of urgency? Or am I buying this because it's actually right for me, or just because everyone else seems to have one? Recognizing the tactic is the absolute first step to disarming it. So, the playbook is officially in your hands now. The real question isn't just what you'll see differently, but what you'll do differently. Will you just pause for 5 seconds before making that impulse buy? Will you actively look for the 3-star reviews instead of just the 5-star ones? By becoming aware of the why behind the buy, you don't just become a smarter consumer, you actually reclaim a little bit more control over your own world.